So welcome back to an all new episode of the Hot Box Tune Up. It's your girl Fast Car Star Skirt, and we back on episode 2. So today we in the French Quarter, New Orleans, back home, and today I am joined by Miss Relly the poet. Let's give it up for Miss Relly. So Miss Relly is a published poet who uses poetry not only as an outlet but a tool for the community. So I would like to know, did doing poetry initially start by you wanting to be more of an activist or being more involved in the community?
Actually, no. I began doing poetry as a child, and it just was an outlet for me personally to just express a lot of the angst, a lot of the things that I was going through in my life with my family, and it was just for me initially. And through me coming into a place where I can write poetry to express my feelings and then share it with others, I realized how it began to affect other people, and that kind of became that catalyst and that road for me to walk upon and share with others and become a form of activism.
Okay, so I understand that you're involved with the youth in the community. What type of things do you do with those guys?
So, as I said, it began as something that I did in my youth. So it was just a way for me to connect with the world around me, connect with my own emotions. So when I got older and I began to share my poetry at different open mics, I was actually recruited by a poetry company in New York called Green Earth Poets Cafe.
Okay.
And that was a poetry organization that actually focused on empowering the youth by giving them a voice.
Yeah.
So it went from me just writing poetry for myself, sharing it to friends and family, to me teaching young people in this organization how to use poetry to express themselves. So now, instead of going out into the streets and fighting, instead of going out into the streets and selling drugs, instead of going out into the streets and doing things that would get them in trouble, they write in poetry. They write in bars. They spitting. They get in recognition.
That's not about the eggs. You find a lot of rappers.
Yeah, a lot
of from New York, right?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
That's right. What in the building? What's up? Yes. And of course, I think people a lot of times they forget that rap is rhythm and poetry.
Right,
Poetry is the mother of rap, of hip hop. So yes, I did find a lot of young men and women who, claim themselves rappers, but they find themselves really getting immersed in the poetry, finding their voice through the poetry and being uplifted and empowered by the poetry. And then from that organization, I went off to start doing youth poetry workshops that I myself facilitated. So it became a passion and a purpose of mine to uplift young and old people through the art of poetry.
So you have a book. Tell us about your collection of poetry within this book.
Yes, so I did publish my own book. It's called In Disarray. And so I published this book a little later on. I was doing poetry for quite some time. I started about 1920 sharing the poetry. I started writing when I was like 7. And then it went from there to, all the things that I mentioned. And then when I got pregnant with my twins, I actually have a set of twins, a boy and a girl. And I realized, I'm like, dang, I want to leave a legacy for them.
Right.
I've been doing all of these things, but if something happened to me, what do these twins have to hold on to me with? What do they have to remember me by? What legacy am I leaving?
Right.
And that kind of pushed me to be like, I'm going to take all of these poems that I've been using to help and affect people, and I'm going to publish them. So I self-published my book of poetry. I called it In Disarray because it was kind of like beautiful chaos. And in disarray means to kind of just mean like all over the place.
Yeah.
When things are in a disarray, it just means all over the place. But I realized all those different chaotic pieces came together to create this beautiful piece of art. And so I published that book when I was right before I gave birth to my children. It was my first baby, and I'm very proud of it. You can check it out on Amazon or on my website. It's called In Disarray by Relly the Poet.
That sounds good. I gotta check that out. I'll probably find a lot of things I can relate to in that, because I'm at the end of my 20s right now, and I feel like I'm in a disarray. Like, I make 30 this year. It's like, I'm all over the place and stuff.
Yes.
So, like, your book tour, did it take you to like any like interesting places? Did you meet anybody interesting while you were on tour?
Absolutely. So one thing about me, and I think this comes from being from New York and being a hustler and having that mindset, is I don't wait on nobody.
Yeah.
I didn't wait on a publishing company. I didn't wait on an agent. I didn't wait on a manager. I did everything myself. So of course, because this is where I'm from, I started in New York, and I had several, book signing events and book releasing events. But then I traveled out here to Atlanta because my mom, she actually moved out here. She bought a house out here, so I hit different spots in Atlanta. We're not in Atlanta. We're in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But I came here from Atlanta. So I hit Atlanta, and then I also hit Detroit. I hit Philly. I hit Connecticut, and I scheduled those tours myself. And it led me to meet some lifelong people, lifelong friends, and people who influence me, people who I influence, and just getting myself out that box of, oh, I'm just a spoken word poet. I'm an author. I'm an activist. I'm a spoken word activist. And meeting those people and making those connections kind of led me to realize what activism really is. Just taking your passion, and your purpose, and affecting and uplifting other people with it. So planning that tour myself definitely gave me some skills and took me outside of my box, gave me confidence, and gave me some lifelong...
Were you a big speaker, like, before the traveling and the activism? Like, were you big on speaking in front of people?
I mean, the poetry kind of made me, get more experience in that. But let me tell you something. When I first started, I was so nervous. I remember my first show, and everybody said it was good, but I really feel like they was just G'ing me up, because I forgot the words, I was stuttering, so it was a process, and I kind of just became comfortable making mistakes, Even now you see me stumbling over my words, but it's all good because it's authentic and it's genuine. And I realized that that's what people relate to.
Right.
So, yes, over time, I did become more comfortable public speaking. I became more comfortable just being myself. And I think that's what people relate to. I never tried being yourself. And that's what poetry is about. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be polished. It's just this beautiful mess that people see in themselves when you say your words. So I did become more confident public speaking through the poetry, absolutely.
Do you tie your poetry in with music? Like any musical influences?
Absolutely. I think that poetry, music, dance, art, they all go hand in hand. When you have an artistic mindset and you set your mind to express yourself artistically, it comes out in all of those various ways. And so I definitely incorporate musical elements into my poetry. I actually just came out with a poetry album, my first poetry album.
Wow.
Yeah, 627 Rebirth. It was
627 Rebirth.
Yes, ma'am. It was released on 6/27, June 27th, my birthday last month.
Happy late birthday.
Thank you. Cancer season in the building. And it represented a rebirthing. Once again, I took all of these amazing poems that I've been perfecting over the years, that I've been using to grab the hearts of people that I know and even that I don't know. I realized that I could reach so many more people if I just put a little musical element, behind it. A lot more people would tune in.
Yeah.
And so that's what that project is about, just that transformation and coming into that next point in my life. Like, what am I going to do now? I've released this book. I've started my own poetry company. I've traveled, the world, really. I've been to Europe with my poetry. I've been to Trinidad with my poetry, where I'm originally from. I've been out here in New Orleans. I've been to Atlanta. I've been all over the U.S. and outside of the country. What now? And I'm like, it's time to take it to the next level. And that's really what releasing this album is about. Rebirthing, evolving, transforming, and taking it to the next level. So definitely check that out on all digital streaming platforms. 627 Rebirth by Relly the Poet.
Trinidad, y'all big on food down there?
Huh?
Trinidad, y'all big on food? Like,
oh, absolutely. I'm talking curry chicken and roti and doubles and aloo pie. Yes. What you mean?
I want to try it because I know you're visiting New Orleans right now.
Absolutely.
Have you had a chance to try anything since you've been here?
Absolutely. So I actually have an amazing partner who's from New Orleans, and that's what brings me here. And she kind of showed me the authentic New Orleans culture. You know, I've had the beignets, mad good. You know what I'm saying? Like just you know, the gumbo.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of seafood, and I love it. I love the spices. I love the culture. You know, that's one thing. It almost reminds me of home because y'all Mardi Gras is very similar to our carnival.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to visit that.
Yes, you should. You should. the correlation,
Yeah.
you know, is astounding when you realize we all black people. You know, we all come from the motherland, and no matter where you are in the world, you find these connections. You find these ways that we liberate ourselves through our food and through our arts, through our clothing and our fashion. So I love it here in New Orleans. I love it. I definitely have experienced a little taste, and I'm ready for so much more. I'm ready for so much more.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today on the High Vibes. It was a pleasure. The first poet on the show.
Thank you.
You know, what you're doing is a beautiful thing. And I hope and I pray for continued blessings in your life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, sis. Yes.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Until next time. The High Vibes.
Better get familiar real quick. Tiptoeing around the subject matter like T. Jones don't exist. Born with a flow, giving out the smoke, I got a rap glitch. Your little rap style shits, get a fix from the pro to mechanic, yeah. Now they ducking me, crack attack rapping on repeat, that shit whack. In fact, you can't fuck with me. Pop a pill to feel like a HOE. Say it with your breath, like a drunk nigga on the internet, beating on his chest like a big dog. Give it Cujo, get put the rest, oof. Let's talk about it. Sign to unsign, you talk about it. Memory clouded, brain fogs around it, fucking up the deal. You got bills, you're drowning. Looking at your family frowning. Your little son, boy, he definitely doubting. Daughter asking daddy is declining. Why you rap like us? Fuck you doing, you wildin'. Please, daddy, stay for around there. Lyrically, he violent. Get an early retirement. I ain't out filling out the t-shirts, the choir, and picture on the front is my only requirement. 10 toes deep. G-code stay woke, nigga sleep by 8. How can that be? How does my city all your thoughts come from my OG? White flag up, cause your lifestyle ain't adding up. White stove and refrigerator, same stack, same serial numbers, bruh. Let me get this right. For the hype, you'll jeopardize life. Dry snitch on the mic for the stripes, telling gang gang, I don't believe in fairy tales, aight? Must be the drip from the coke on the stage with the strippers entertaining like a hoe. Close Studio 3 in with your woe, all the weed back and forth, saliva on the smoke. Sharing them vibes. Pillow talking to your bitch with lies. Awkward moments feel awkward on and use an ass clown circus, don't want it. You still flown it. In public, fuck how you feel. Violate, nigga think it's hate when I said it straight, no ordeal. Running around with your partner, Joe, she would turn coke mentally ill. Candyman, she be my first name, versus me and get killed. Subconsciously, living in your brain, can't sleep from nightmares and chills. I'm that dangerous, my tombstone gon' read zeitgeist rap skills. Numbers don't lie. 7012 Eastside High. Low figures on Spotify. Timid curators don't feel your vibe. Now or later, no day, no play, no way am I ride. Frisbee your shit from I-10, hope it catch wind and hit lakeside. Talk shit, but get no commitment like a scary movie, like a killer vision. Bunch of guns and knives ready for war, you itching. Fucked up in the car, you abort the mission. Soccer baller, independent business, six-figure nigga by your life and flip it, make your ass a tenant. My shit not rented, key swipe, my level eye recognition. Button start, no key ignition, house automated, tank full of fishes, 800 credit. Wardrobe delicious, passport got stamps every page I'm skipping. Horsepower, them pipes holler. Slide through my cocaine range, y'all been talking, had to see about ya. Jail partner came home to rap, nigga drop a post, not a legend back. I'm motherfucking Flocano, nigga. Trying to see what's up with that. Angel wings, burn it off your back. D.O.B. the slide down, I stand on that. CC, not Circus City, GA, where you at? Why love prevail, sniping, shooting back. On everything. I put that shit on everything. Yeah. Spit raw D-I-L-L-Y, I'm vicious. Niggas rapping up the niggas' business every sentence. I put that shit on everything. I put that shit on everything. Yeah. Them candy bars, your ignorance be mixing. I go nuts, I'm like kid, eat that shit with vengeance. I put that shit on everything. I put that shit on everything. Street man!